Good afternoon. Welcome to the Hillsborough County Commission on Human Trafficking, December 9th at 1 p.m. This is a hybrid meeting, so we have several members in the room as well as several members of our board that are actually attending virtually, as well as several guests that are coming to do presentations for us today. With that, I'm going to ask for not only calling it to order, but for a roll call so that we have a record of those that on the board that have attended.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to call a roll. Chair Overman.
Here.
Major Jeffrey Harris. Sergeant Gerald Baker. Deputy Chief Lee Burkall. Mr. Santiago Carrata.
Here, and Madam Chair, I'm going to have to jump off the meeting a few minutes before 2. I have to jump on another Zoom meeting.
Thank
with
you.
some state folks. So just for the record, I'll be on until I have to jump off.
Excellent. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Miss Iris Valdez Corey Dunaway.
Present.
Thank you. Detective Sergeant Kevin Durkin. Chief Judge Ronald Ficarrotta.
Here.
Miss Jennifer Glaister. Miss Liz Gutierrez. Public Defender Julianne Holt. Miss Kathleen Kemke.
Here.
Mr. Charles Klug.
Here.
School Board Member Miss Karen Perez. Miss Connie Rose.
Here.
Thank you. Miss Dottie Groover Skipper.
I'm here. Hello, everyone.
Miss Tina Smith. Captain Robert Staley. Miss Brenna Taylor. And State's Attorney Mr. Andrew Warren. Thank you all. We do not have a quorum.
Okay. Thank you very, very much. Given that, we have several, we have August 19th minutes as well as the October 28th minutes that we'll have to defer till our next meeting. The next item on the agenda is the chair's report. The good news is we're making good progress, and I'm going to keep this very short. I have the pleasure of actually doing an interview tomorrow, which we'll hear more about, I believe, tomorrow, a little bit later in the agenda. But we are seeing that employers are signing up for the training, which is exciting. This week, we had an item on the agenda regarding the solid waste haulers in Hillsborough County, and they have actually agreed to provide human trafficking awareness for those that work, and it was modified in their contract. So we actually had to go back and modify the contract in order to facilitate having them participate in the human trafficking education, which is great news because they're on the road. They see more than we give them credit for sometimes, and I'm very glad that they will bring more eyes to the fight against human trafficking throughout our community. So I appreciate their partnership, and that's great, great news. Other than that, we will have a robust schedule for next year. We've got a lot of good things that we'll hear about very shortly, and we've got several items that we can consider, but given we don't have a quorum here, we're not going to be able to vote on them, but we can bring them back to our meeting in January, correct? And I hope that we can get a physical quorum in January in order to make that possible. I'd like to also introduce our new court liaison, Miss Michelle Sainsbury. Is she present?
Yes, she is.
She is.
Madam
Okay.
Chair.
Oh,
Michelle,
there
why
you
don't
are.
Come on up.
Hi, come on up.
Would you like her at the podium, ma'am, or where would you like her?
Actually, the podium is a good spot. Do we have actually, come on up. Come sit with us. Come sit with us. If you're comfortable sitting next to the chief judge, I would imagine
Absolutely.
that would be great. And if you could do us the favor of introducing yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself and how you plan on changing the world for us.
Going to start?
Sure, go ahead.
Well, Madam Chair, I appreciate the opportunity for us to have Michelle here with us today. And, keeping with your theme of the progress we're making, this is a big step for the courts. And I want to thank you for your leadership on the issue and the board for funding this position. Michelle's been a forensic interviewer at our Children's Advocacy Center for 17 years. She was a contractor for many years before accepting a full-time position with us in 2019. Her experience involves interviewing children and vulnerable adults who are alleged victims of physical or sexual abuse or neglect, or who are potential witnesses to crimes. She's also called many times to testify in court, so she brings that experience with her as well. She's responsible for training and community educational outreach on related subjects. Prior to working as a forensic interviewer, she was a contract child advocate at the CAC for 7 years. She was a liaison between the child, the family, and the community service agencies to ensure necessary care was provided quickly and efficiently. She's advocated for child victims of sexual and physical abuse and children of families experiencing domestic violence. A big plus with her is she is bilingual in Spanish and English, and she's got a lot to contribute. And I think she's going to be a great addition to our court staff and really be able to get the ball rolling on being able to identify cases across the spectrum of our courts so we can get some data, we can get some numbers, and see where we're at. So she's still taking ongoing training on human trafficking and is just doing a great job, and I think she's going to be wonderful for us. And so I'll turn it over to Michelle if she's got any comments, Madam Chair, respectfully.
Thank you, Chief Judge, for a great introduction. Appreciate that.
He covered pretty much everything. I just look forward to working with all of you on this cause of human trafficking and just linking these individuals to services to the best of our ability as we try to identify them within the courts. So again, thank you for this opportunity, and I look forward to working with all of you.
Well, thank you and welcome. We have a lot of folks that are working on giving you and working through the tools that you need. There are several initiatives moving forward to make sure that you have good referral sources, good resources, and any input that may be necessary to allow you to really assist those that are suffering from this kind of crime. So with that, thank you very, very much for applying, and welcome aboard. Is there anyone else on the board that would like to say something? I don't see any hands raised. Dottie Grover-Scripper, you're recognized.
Yes, I just want to say welcome aboard, Michelle. This is a tremendous first step to closing some of the gaps that we have here in Hillsborough County. I wanted to ask if some of the training that you're going through with human trafficking, it would be very, very beneficial to tap into our survivors in the local area, like Connie Rose. I see Laura Henderson on the call as well, to tap into those expert resources. I think they would be of tremendous benefit in your training. So again, welcome aboard. Glad you're here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Connie
Yeah,
Rose,
hi,
you're
this is-
recognized.
Yeah. Yes, thanks, Dottie, for opening the door, and welcome. And we would love, so we have a SAC committee, a Survivor Advisory Committee under the commission, and so I would love to connect with you, share with you a little bit more about that, and maybe invite you, some of the survivors are on with us today, so I'm going to invite you to maybe we just kind of brainstorm together. So I will give you my contact information. I'll put it into chat, and we look forward to speaking with you.
That sounds great. Thank you. I look forward to that.
You're
Excellent. I would like to make a recommendation that she get on our working group email list so that you're aware of the 4 working groups that we have that are all working on finding best ways and best practices on how we tackle this issue. So if you're aware of it and can participate, that would be great. You'll learn a great deal. We have some of the most passionate board members that I know of in almost any category or issue. So I want to say welcome and thank you very much for applying, and we're looking forward to a very robust opportunity to make a difference here. So thank you very much for applying. Is there anyone else that would like to say? Catherine?
Hi, welcome, Michelle. I worked with you a couple of years ago on when we were at the CAC, and appreciate your expertise and really glad that you're here. We have our human trafficking care coordinator at the crisis center, so we'll want to connect the two of you because I think there's a lot of things that you can do in collaboration along with the many amazing people in this group. So welcome, and it's good to see you here.
Thank you, Catherine. I appreciate it.
Kathleen's been working also with the USF TIP program and the project that they're working on creating a database tracking information and developing a robust resources database that not only allows us to be aware of who has capacity for services, for referral purposes, but also to assure that those services are there and available and live, so that you know that when you need referral services or law enforcement does, that it's not there yet, but we're working on it. And with Kathleen's help, as well as many of others on the board, I think ultimately we're going to have, I think, one of the best programs in the state. So we're almost
That's
there.
exciting.
We're almost there. Anyone else? Seeing no hands raised or waving or jumping up and down, so I think we'll move on to the next item, but thank you, welcome.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is actually a presentation from Don't Buy It, Tampa Bay campaign. Elise I always mess up your last name, I'm so sorry, DeBernardo and Sinclair are here from FKQ, giving us an update on the presentation on the Don't Buy It campaign. Are you available? Go ahead.
Share the slides.
Yes, stand by.
While we're getting those slides up, just a quick thank you to Commissioner Overman and Santiago and Elizabeth and everyone that has helped bring this back this year. So as many of you know, we launched this campaign last year. We were able to utilize some additional funding when the Super Bowl was here. But as we all know, this activity can occur any time of year, whether we have a big event here in Tampa Bay or not. So great that this is becoming an annual plan that we can, get support for the community throughout the year. So if you want to move to the next slide. This slide really is just a reminder of your mission as a committee and really what the campaign was grounded in. And it is to bring awareness to human trafficking in Tampa Bay so that we can rescue victims and improve outcomes. The campaign will help residents and visitors alike recognize the indicators and learn how to report suspected activity. On the next slide, we go through some of the planning parameters for this year. Since the creative was invested in last year and kind of ready to go, we were able to put most of the budget into paid media. And as you know, all those paid media dollars are matched with PSA backing from our partners. So the campaign is already underway with those PSAs, and I'm excited to announce that tomorrow we will be at WFLA in support of their Kindness Day event with Titus O'Neill and Commissioner Overman able to do live interviews in the morning. So a really great way to kick off this year's campaign. A reminder of the geography, we're really focused on all of Hillsborough County. So that includes from the airport area, West Shore, where our sports stadiums are, all the way to East Tampa and into Plant City and Waimama. Our target audiences are residents, but also visitors, and this year we'll be welcoming the Gasparilla event attendees. And of course, we always want to make sure we are speaking to our hoteliers and employees of businesses where this activity may occur. We'll take a look at the creative in the upcoming slides, but just a reminder of the messaging platform. It was really around building awareness that this activity is happening in Tampa Bay, again, all year long. We wanted to be diverse in who we're representing as victims, because we know this could be labor trafficking or it could be sex trafficking. There's all different forms. So the creative should, span that diversity as well as diversity in ethnicities. It was really paramount for us to tell people how to notify authorities if they do suspect any activity. And, try to get people to understand that it's learning the story of the individual. It's going to help you understand those signs so that you know how to report. So just a quick look at our objectives and strategies on the next slide. Again, just to raise awareness around the issue of human trafficking, recognize the signs, how to report suspected activity. This campaign is meant to really unify Tampa Bay as a community and as a rallying cry so that we can work together to stop this activity. So on the next slide, you see the campaign monikers, Don't Buy It, Tampa Bay. This could be whether you're a potential victim, a customer, this is an illusion that you're buying into, so stay informed. And we as a community can, unite together against these crimes. So this creative example here is a poster. And then on the next slide, we'll take a look at our 30-second video with Titus O'Neill, if we can try to play this one.
Every 30 seconds, someone becomes a victim of human trafficking. Abuse victims, runaway children, vulnerable people, or just everyday individuals, trapped by a crime built on lies and exploitation. But we can end it together. Don't buy the lie. Text CTYTIP to 847-411 with anonymous tips and call 211 for immediate help. Don't buy it, Tampa Bay.
He's one of my heroes.
Yeah, we also have a number of outdoor executions and headlines, as well as individuals that we're able to depict throughout the campaign. So this one says human traffickers trick victims by making false promises. On the next slide, you'll see that line also with a few different folks. Victims of human trafficking are hidden in plain sight. And the next slide. Paying for sex allows human traffickers to exploit their victims, and human trafficking victims are forced to work for no pay. We really try to cover all of the potential situations. On the next slide, we'll see transit. We're able to work with COHT to wrap their buses. This really helps us get into those East Tampa areas. And then on the next slide, you'll see we're working with our partner to wrap delivery and rideshare vehicles. We know Uber and Lyft, have training and programs to help human trafficking. So these types of programs can only help support that. And then on the next slide, where we're able to, we're also running Spanish language. So we have both print and outdoor translated for bus shelters. We also were able to translate our radio spot, which isn't in the deck. There's been a lot of talk about wanting to take opportunity with Spanish TV. So if there is a spokesperson, similar to a Titus O'Neill that we're able to work with, let us know. We would love to bring them onto the campaign. And then on the next slide, we'll take a look at some media strategies for this year. We really wanted a multi-channel reach so that we can really reach different people in different areas of Tampa. So we have some high reach channels like the TV that we've talked about, as well as radio. And Shauna will walk you through a lot more detail on those, because not only is WFLA and iHeart helping us out, but all of the stations across Tampa Bay will be running our creative as PSAs. And, we were looking for partners that would help kind of really go above and beyond and understand the importance of the campaign and help us maximize our exposure. So we have sustaining support through June of 2022. January is National Human Trafficking Awareness Month, so we have some increased activity then, as well as leading into the Gasparilla events that are happening this year. So On the next slide, you'll see the channels that we're going to be activating in. As we mentioned, we have TV, we have radio, we have outdoor that includes car wraps, as well as this year in the airport and some really cool digital kiosks that we'll take a look at in a few slides. Some digital, social, as well as some print. So I'm going to pass it over to Shauna to walk you through the TV.
Hi, so yes, as Elisa just mentioned earlier, we really leveraged our partnership in the market with all of our TV and radio vendors to really bring a mix of both a paid schedule and PSA so that we can have really full coverage across the market. If you remember from last year, WFLA did a really great job for us. So once again, we are visiting the paid schedule with WFLA, which is the NBC affiliate, one of the leading stations in Tampa. And we're really doing a 360-degree campaign with them, starting with spots. So the paid schedule will be running throughout the month of January. They're also giving us a bonus schedule of 40 additional spots, also running throughout January. And these will be in prime day parts, daytime, early news, prime access, and late news. In addition to that, they will be providing 200,000 plus digital impressions on their website, WFLA.com, as well as 2 individual daytime segments. So if you remember from last year, these are interviews on their daytime program. So those dates will be determined when we can schedule, but they will be giving us 2 this year, anytime between now and June. And in addition to that, they will also continue running PSAs throughout January all the way through June. So we will have a lot of coverage on WFLA as well as their sister station, WTTA. Also, as Elisa just mentioned, as an added value, they are giving us once again the sponsorship of Kindness Day. So that is actually happening tomorrow, and I'll talk about more details on that. Well, on this slide. Previously though, yeah, sorry, just wanted to mention that in addition to the paid schedule, we also have been able to leverage PSAs on all other majority of the Tampa TV stations. They have been giving us PSAs that will run through June. In addition to that, we've also secured the availability to run on WVEA, as Elisa mentioned, that is the Spanish station. So if we do have access to a Spanish-speaking person, we can actually run PSAs on that station as well, which is a great opportunity. And in addition to that, we have cable PSAs also running in January. And the next slide, we'll talk about Kindness Day. So as Elisa mentioned, this is taking place tomorrow, and we will have live on-air interviews. I believe Titus is at 7:25, 7:27, something like that. Yeah, so we've already been running promo spots leading up to this event. This is a big, as you can see, it's the 13th annual. This is a big initiative of WFLA where people come out to the station to give back. And last year, Titus was on set. As you can see, he gave a great interview. So that'll be happening again tomorrow morning. So you can tune in for that. And in addition to the promos, there have been press releases, an ad in Tampa Bay Times, and various other promo items that have included our message. On the next slide, we'll talk about radio. Last year, we partnered with iHeart. They did a really great job. So once again, we are doing that. iHeart has the top stations in the market. So there are 8 stations among their station group. And they will be running a paid schedule as well as a 1-for-1 PSA. These will run additionally January through June. Beasley Station Group has also offered to give us 600 plus PSAs across all 6 of their stations, as well as the opportunity for an interview on their PSA program, which runs on all of their stations as well. iHeart, as I mentioned, will be doing a 1-for-1 PSA. They will also offer us an opportunity for an interview on WFLA, as well as WDAE. And in addition to that, they will run 75,000 digital display impressions across all of their station websites. The dates for the paid program will be January 17th through the 30th, but as I mentioned, PSAs on all stations, iHeart and Beasley, will run through June. Next slide. This takes us to our out-of-home program. This is a really great way to have market-wide high-impact awareness. We will have 2 campaigns. The first one will be the high-profile Interstate Digital Rotary, which is across 13 digital units in high-profile areas. These will be running for 12 weeks, January through the end of March, and our creative will be rotating across 13 digital units. In addition, we'll have a targeted Rotary bulletin and poster campaign, and that will cycle our creative over 6 units that are located in East and Central Tampa. That will be for 14 weeks, January through April. Next slide. As Elisa mentioned, our wrap vehicles are back. These did really great for us last year. So we will have 10 wrapped cars that will be on rideshare drivers on targeted routes. We were able to track these drivers, and this program will run for 10 weeks, January through March, with 2 weeks of bonus exposure. Next slide. And this takes us to our transit, our bus wraps. These bus routes are going to be focused on East Tampa. We have 1 paid King Kong, which is the term for the large bus wrap, and 1 bonus. So there will be 2 of these running for 16 weeks. Like I said, the bus routes will be focused on East Tampa. And we got 3 bonus Super Tails, which is the copy on the back of the bus, which will be running for 16 weeks. In addition to that, we also have the bus shelters. We have 10 paid and 10 added value, so 20 total bus shelters that will be targeted in Tampa trafficking hotspots. These will be displayed for 16 weeks, January through April. In addition to that, we will also have some Spanish language creative on those. Next slide.
All right, we are really excited to partner with, excuse me, the Smart City Kiosks that are new in the area. You may be familiar with them. They're located downtown Tampa. We see these in some other big cities, so it's nice that they're here. It gives people some immediate information, or if there's emergency information. They're very eye-catching. They're over 8 feet tall, double-sided. So it does give us a nice 65-inch screen for our messaging, and puts it along kind of those 4 urban areas where people are walking. So that's a nice addition. And then on the next slide, we're also excited to go into the airport this year. Last year, when we were partnering with the NFL, It's a Penalty really focused on the airport. So we didn't have our messaging there. So this year, without that, we wanted to make sure that we were there. And the airport was great to work with us to have a 10-second unit on 32 digital screens around their baggage claim area. So we're getting all those nice visitors coming in. And it's about 2.4 thousand estimated impressions for 4 weeks. So that's great. And then on the next slide, this is purely added value. There's no paid campaign at all with this. It's just partnering with Tampa Bay Times, and they will run a number of print PSAs in their Sunday edition as well as the digital. And I think the last slide is just a nice flow chart, kind of calendar of the year, so that you can see how the activity spans throughout the year and kind of where those different plus-ups are for our campaigns in January. I think that's it.
Lisa and Shauna, thank you so very much for going through that very thorough report, helping us understand how we're getting the information out to the public, raising the awareness and making sure that when we have events, which oftentimes a lot of our tourist events, are all around the spring, between hopefully another Super Bowl celebration, even though it might not be here, we'll still be celebrating, and as well as Gasparilla and other, spring events and lots of festivals that we have in the first part of the year. Excellent opportunity for us to get in front of many, many eyes. And so I want to thank Visit Tampa Bay and both FKQ Marketing for putting together a robust communications plan for the effort and raising the awareness. And that gives us a great opportunity to then focus on the work we have to do in the other areas of the Commission on Human Trafficking. So thank you very, very much. Are there any questions from the members? You have to raise your hand. Okay, great. Dottie Grover-Skipper?
Yes, phenomenal. I am just so thrilled that you're back for another year and hopefully beyond, because the campaign is fabulous. I wanted to offer this suggestion that in maybe these interviews, also having a survivor voice in the interviews, even someone paired with Commissioner Overman or Titus O'Neill, that survivor voice would be it would be double the impact, I think. So I wanted to offer that suggestion, if that could be on the table. And also, somehow I became chair of the Communication and Media Working Group, which I'm very happy to be involved in that, and wondered if the information, like what you just shared, could also be filtered, or provided to our working group, as in real time when things are happening. So I wanted to see if that could also be a possibility. So we're in the know in real time. That would be appreciated.
Maybe we could facilitate making sure that when your working group gathers, that Elisa and Shauna are copied on it so that they can attend and provide any kind of guidance or any updates that do occur that would need to be considered as part of the communications plan. That's an excellent question. Connie Rose, you had a...
Fabulous job. Fabulous.
Thank you.
Yes, and Dottie, thank you. So you took the words right out of my mouth, so very appreciative. I mean, it's so robust. I mean, I know last year it was a little limited because we had a lot of other organizations, doing incredible work and the workaround that you did, but so robust. I actually put in Q&A, so Dottie, and piggyback, it was before you even, requested about survivors. So I said in the Q&A to the co-host, this is a great way to utilize the SAC, which is the Survivor Advisory Committee, when meeting interviews are conducted. We asked for this last year, so I'm going to put it out there again, and not just in January, but anywhere, anytime at all. We have a great team. We could all come together, however it would work, but again, want to put that on the table. And then again, just like Dottie requested, so I'm the chair for the Education and Awareness Committee. And so we would love to invite you and really break it down even more in our committee. So if we can make that happen, we would love to have you. So thank you. And the SAC committee also. If you'd like to join us, we'll put together a meeting and join us for the SAC committee also. So thank you so much for all your efforts.
Okay, just a moment, please. Charles Klug, you're recognized. Thank you, Connie.
Thank you. Excellent presentation. Just want to mention Port Tampa Bay would also like to participate in this. We have video screens throughout our cruise terminals. We've been posting posters from Truckers Against Trafficking. We'd also like to have, basically air the PSAs on our video terminals and make awareness. We have probably handled, last year before COVID, we anticipated about 1.2, 1.3 million passengers going through our cruise terminals. So we do get a lot of traffic there, and it's a good opportunity to, to increase awareness, not only in our community, but the visitors to our community. So if you want to reach out to me, I'd be glad to coordinate that and make sure we get those posted in our terminals as well. Thanks.
Excellent, great. I love it when we work together. And I also want to say thank you for reaching back out to the airport, because we did have, it's a penalty handled, that segment of our tourism entry and exit points. And remembering to go back and say, hey, we need to bring that back to our campaign is an excellent plan. So I really thank you very much for that. So I'm sure we'll be able to get the three of you connected and make that happen. I don't see any other hands raised at the moment, so we'll move on if everyone's good. And thank you very, very much for your work. You guys are better buyers than I am of media, for sure. So I may have to call you on some other items that that we need. But fabulous job. Thank you so very, very much. The next item on the agenda is the 2022 legislative review. And we have with us today Lauren Storch, who works with the county to provide us with guidance on what's happening in Tallahassee and around the state. She is our government relations and strategic services provider here with the county. And Lauren, you're welcome to give us an update on what's happening in the area of human trafficking.
Wonderful. Thank you, Chair. I'm moving awfully close to the computer because I was instructed that my microphone isn't picking up well, so I'm sorry if it looks like I'm in the screen. I don't think my presentation is going to be nearly as exciting as the last one, but I will still bore you endlessly with legislative updates. I'm going to share my PowerPoint, if you guys can see it.
Yeah, we're almost there.
Is that working?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is a 2022 legislative review. Rather than jumping right into the human trafficking bills, I wanted to just give a quick overview on the process itself. And I apologize if this is redundant for some of you, but it can get a bit confusing. So I just wanted to go over some of the details. So there are the two chambers, the Florida House of Representatives and the Florida Senate. I've linked to both of them on this PowerPoint. On each page, you can find specific info on each chamber, anything about committee meetings, various reference materials, and also on both pages, they have the ability to track bills. So if there's a bill that I go over today that you want to stay on top of, you can sign up for alerts, and they will email you when a bill is put on an agenda or an amendment is filed or anything like that. It's a very, very helpful tool. Then here are some important dates coming up. Session begins on January 11th, 2022, and goes until March 11th, 2022. The general bill filing deadline is actually the first day of session. And when a bill is filed, it then will get reference to committees based on subject matter. So for example, a human trafficking bill would typically be referenced to the Criminal Justice Committee, first and foremost. Then a bill has to be placed on a committee's agenda in order for it to be heard and voted on and subsequently moved through the process. So the last day for those regularly scheduled committee meetings is March 1st, 2022, which is the 50th day of session. Even though March 11th is the last day, there is always a possible chance that session could be extended if any outstanding issues remain. Budget is most common, but it's unlikely that session would be extended this year just because it's an election year, and so legislators are usually pretty eager to get back to their districts to campaign. So this is just a quick little snapshot. More than 2,500 bills have already been filed for this upcoming session, and as I said, they have until January 11th to file those bills. That includes both policy and appropriations bills, though more than half of the bills filed are actually appropriations projects. And then policy bills have to pass both chambers, which I'll go over a little bit more in detail later. But appropriations follows a little bit of a different path. And then I just wanted to give kind of a snapshot of the program that we utilize to track legislation. It's called Lobby Tools. And you can see along the side, I mean, it's extremely in-depth. You can search for bills, you can look up statutes, find bills that reference certain statutes. The daily calendar is very helpful, contact information. So this is where we live basically on a daily basis during session. So, and then we utilize these folders, which you can see on the left side, that we can flag bills and then they'll go into our individual folders. So just figured I'd give a snapshot of our criminal and civil justice folder. Right now we've got 13 bills flagged in there, and you'll see a few of the human trafficking bills are in there that we will get alerts on. So if we flag a bill, we'll get similar alerts to the ones that I was describing if you decide to track a bill, if a bill gets placed on an agenda, if an amendment gets filed, if a committee substitute is filed, anything like that, we'll get alerts on the bills that we've chosen to flag. And then these are the bills that have been filed thus far that address human trafficking. So HB is abbreviation for House Bill, and then SB is the abbreviation for Senate Bill. If you only see one number, like for example with HB 615, That just means that a Senate companion hasn't been filed. And as I said before, policy bills have to pass both chambers. So hopefully there will be a Senate companion filed for this bill. It's still early, or the content of the bill could be filed onto a different bill. That's getting into the weeds of it. I'm not going to go there, but there's a lot of different routes for kind of getting legislation across the finish line. And then I also included on here HB 2339, which is a member appropriation project sponsored by Representative Toledo, which would propose impact to the Tampa Bay area, bringing more funds to help mitigate human trafficking in the area. And then I'm going to close out of this, and then there's another document that I'd provided. Gotta back over here. 1 second, sorry. Is there a way to make this screen bigger on the right?
Lauren, are you trying to full screen the PowerPoint?
I'm trying to share a different document. It's in a PDF form.
You may have to unshare your screen and then reshare the PDF.
Okay, I'm going there now. Apologize for the delay. All right. Is that clear?
It looks clear on our end, yes.
Okay. So I also provided this document in your backup, and this just goes into more detail on those bills. So you'll see kind of breaks down, and then I also linked the bills to their respective pages. So this would bring you to the House website, and that bill page, there you can access the bill text, what committees it's been referenced to, if it has been, if there's an analysis available, what statutes it references. So kind of your own shortcut to our version of what we use lobby tools for. And so then on the right side here, I put where it's at in the process. So this bill, Senate Bill 294, it was heard in its first committee and it was voted unanimously. So then it will move to its second committee. And then scrolling down here, this is that appropriations project that I mentioned. And there will be, if it is going to be in the final budget, then a Senate companion would have to be filed. But like I said, it's a little bit different in how appropriations works. But most of these bills that are listed here are the policy bills that have been filed. And we will keep this document updated throughout session and certainly keep you all updated on progress of these bills. And if there are any additional human trafficking bills filed, we will keep you updated. And that concludes my presentation. Stop sharing my screen. Here, if there are any questions, I know, like I said, that was not nearly as exciting as the last, but I hope kept you awake at the very least.
Lauren, thank you very, very much. The reference materials is enormously helpful, so thank you very much. And our Legislative and Judicial Affairs Committee will eat this up in a heartbeat. So having your support is really very valuable. Are there any specific questions before we move on to the draft of the resolution that we need to consider, although we cannot vote on it today because we don't have a quorum, but at least we can have a presentation to it. Dottie Grover-Skipper, you're recognized.
Yes, a great overview. I know I am working with the No More Foundation and working with Representative Toledo. And to my knowledge, I just got word today that it does look like there is a Senate sponsor to this bill. Yay. So I don't know who yet, but it looks like it looks good. So I just wanted to say that. And thank you for all the work that you do.
Great. I'm happy to hear that, and certainly as soon as that gets filed, I'll add that to the document and keep you guys posted on that as well.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Santiago, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Lauren, always fascinated with what happens in Tallahassee. So from a marketer, I was super excited with your presentation and really enjoyed it. Madam Chair, if we could request that maybe Lauren come back to us after session with an update of what made it past the final stretch and signed by the governor. So we're up to speed. You know, I would appreciate it. I don't know if I can speak for all the members of the commission, but sometimes these things start and they don't end, or they start and end, and we never find out that they ended. So it'd be great for us to know what happened in Tallahassee at the end of session after the governor's had a chance to either sign or veto whatever comes to him.
Excellent recommendation. So we'll add that to our maybe May or June, whenever that meeting is, after session, assuming it's closed. But actually, everything goes to the governor at the first part of June. Is that correct, Lauren, as far as signature?
For policy bills, once they're passed, he can, in essence, sign or veto them. He has a deadline of June 30th, I believe, to have acted on all of the bills. But we should have a pretty good idea around, as you said, May or June of what passed, what's going into effect, if anything would be vetoed. It's less likely for policy bills to get vetoed, especially in this subject area, but certainly can provide a comprehensive summary of all of that after session's over.
Excellent. We'll look forward to hearing how we go. And thank you, Dottie, for the update on the potential partner bill. So that's great. Any other questions before we move on? Seeing none, I'd like to introduce DeBora Cromartie-Mincey. She is our legal support for the Commission on Human Trafficking, and she's provided us with a draft resolution for consideration. And while we cannot vote on it today, please provide us with an outline of what you are presenting for the board to consider.
Let me unmute. Good afternoon, everyone. Commissioner Overman, congratulations on your new role as the chair of the Board of County Commissioners. I was asked to draft and present the amended resolution that's before you. I'm not sure if you all have it. It should be in the packet. Basically what it does is amends your governing resolutions by providing for the selection of and voting by alternates. The purpose of these alternate members would be to serve in the absence of the primary member by participating in the meetings and voting in the place of the primary member. This certainly would also be a way that this commission will be able to address a lack of quorum issues. The length of the term of the alternate member will be the same as that of the primary member. These members will be selected in the same manner as the primary member. So for instance, if the board selected the primary members, then the board will also select the alternate members, and the same will apply to those primary members that were selected by the different agencies represented on this commission. Also, all alternate member selections will need to be confirmed by the BOCC. Because we don't have a quorum today and we're not able to vote, with the approval of this commission at some future date, the draft resolution can be forwarded to the board for their consideration and final approval at an upcoming meeting. That's all that I have. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And as many of our board members are aware, several of our members are either elected officials or, leaders of their agencies, and schedules are tough. I will admit it. I have a true understanding of that these days. So excuse me, this gives us the flexibility of making sure that we have someone from that specific topic or that specific selection or role able to be at the table so that we can move our agenda forward without hesitation. With that, Dottie Grover-Skipper, you're recognized.
Yes, me again. Is that true for all of the positions across the board? Because in reading, I just kind of read the resolution quickly, but it didn't look like my position, the community advocate, it didn't look like that was specifically listed. So is it for all the positions across the board or just those entities that are agencies and organizations?
I would assume it's going to be for all of the members. Is that your understanding, Commissioner?
I
Chair?
believe we were actually going to just chose the agencies initially, but under the circumstances, we do recognize that. But given that the alternate has to be identified, apply,
Yes.
and go through that process, so it's very clear
Yes.
that they are always on the distribution lists,
Yes.
are available to hear the meeting agendas, even when they're not serving as an alternate at the meeting. And be able to basically, step into those shoes. Many of the agency positions have staff to be able to help with that. But individuals don't always have that kind of support. So we want to make sure that we have a robust discussion, a robust membership, and robust decision-making process. So I'll hear the board's pleasure, but I believe initially it was just primarily the
Agency.
first agency positions, so that would have been the positions through letter L, is that correct?
Madam Chair, for me, I think it would be helpful too. I mean, my schedule's ridiculously crazy as well, and I can't always, I make most of them, but there are times. So I think if we could do it all across the board.
Dottie,
with
you're
all
not allowed to
positions.
not come to these meetings because you always give us good advice. What, how in the world would anybody fill your shoes?
Well, I think there's plenty of people, and I know people could apply and be vetted that, have the institutional knowledge and could step into this role. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Any other recommendation, Connie Rose?
Yes, hi. So I have a couple of them. The first one is there any way to add the SAC committee, the Survivor Advisory Committee, into these documents so that we actually are formalized? I don't know if that's something that can be done or not. And then,
As a voting member on the board, is that what you're asking?
well, not necessarily, I don't know if it would be a voting member on the board or somewhere within the documents that we actually have a Survivor Advisory Committee. I think it would be really powerful when anyone looks at these documents to really see that, this commission really is about survivors and a survivor voice, because that's why we're doing this work at the end of the day, is so that survivors, you have that hope and help and healing. So I don't know what kind of language and where. I'm just putting it on the table as a question.
Sure. Well, I know currently, right now, what you all have in your resolution is that the commission may appoint non-voting participants and/or liaisons who may participate in meetings but not vote. So certainly that could be an area where they would fall, unless you want it formalized in some other manner.
Well, is there a way within that context to add in that, or somewhere that there is a Survivor Advisory Committee? So again, I don't know if it's in this document, I don't know where it fits, but again, I feel that in a legal document that we have that individuals can go back and read in the community at large, I think it would be very, very powerful and speak volumes to this commission.
Ms. Rose, I do hear you, and these committees or these working groups right now are not actually part of our resolution.
Okay.
So it wouldn't preclude us from doing that. I was of the understanding that those items would be covered either through the Education and Awareness or Services and Resources working groups, but maybe not. But if, I think that's something that the board needs to consider, to develop an objective of that particular group that's separate from the objectives that have been established by the other two that I thought that's where that was going to be covered. So, and since you are actually taking the lead on education and awareness, is there something that precludes that Survivor Advisory Group from being part of that working group?
No, Commissioner. However, what we have is we have survivors that are assigned, I'm not sure that's the proper word, to each working group, because I can't be at every working group. So for instance, Laura, I believe you are legislation and judicial, right? Nilda is education and awareness, and we haven't filled the other ones yet. So we have dispersed ourselves into each working group, opposed to just education and awareness, because the voice of a survivor really should be in each working group collectively.
Okay. Any other comments? Questions? Concerns? Okay. What I would suggest, and we've done this in the past, is that the recommendation be made for the next meeting's agenda. And what I'm assuming, I think I hear you saying, is that what we've done is with the individuals you're speaking of that would be on that working group actually attend all the other meetings that they're assigned to, and then they gather to discuss what they're learning from all the other groups. That's kind of the purpose of the board. But if I understand you correctly, those advocates aren't necessarily board members. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
So they're not board members, but they are, they do attend and are assigned to a committee so that we know that there is a survivor voice on each committee.
Understood.
And, yes.
Okay.
And then there's one more that I'd like to add moving forward, and it's going to be, probably into next year, but just putting it out there, is I would like to see, so right now, the way that it is in the document is that it's created, healing route, and victim to survivors. And I love that, and I'm very honored, and that between the three organizations, we got together and chose who the survivor was going to be to actually be appointed to the commission. But I would like to extend that even further out and have an actual process put into place so that any survivor that is out there can actually apply for that position. And of course, we can, break it down. What would it look like? What are all the parameters when you go to apply? Because we would want to be mindful that it would not be someone that just came out of the life, that has had some years and some advocacy behind them. But I would like to really put that on the table. What could we do? And that would be more of an application process.
Yes.
Opposed to the way that we do it now.
In
And
other
you're
words,
absolutely right. I'm sorry, Chair.
I'm sorry. So if I understand you correctly, currently that position is filled as a designate of redefining refuge. And you would prefer to have it be an application process?
Well, yes. So, redefining refuge, I'm not sure how their position is. So redefining refuge, as I'm looking at the document, it says Hillsborough County Commission on Status of Women, redefining refuge, visit Tampa Bay. So I'm not sure why redefining refuge is a standalone, and I don't know if you want to explain that or not now. What I'm speaking to is then it goes and other agencies related to human trafficking and created, healing route, and victims to survivors may desire to select alternate members. But in the original documentation, it was our three organizations coming together, and then it was up to us to choose who the survivor was going to be on the commission. I would like to see a more formal process and maybe bring redefining refuge into that, but a more formal process to select one or two. I mean, why do we have to have just one survivor to be on the commission? Why not have at least two survivors be on the commission? Because again, we're outnumbered, and we are the reason you are doing this.
Okay, any other input from the board? Now, by the way, Ms. Henderson, you can say something. I see you looking like you want to, so if you'd like to provide comment, please feel free to do so.
Hi, I'm Laura. So, yeah, I wasn't sure if I was allowed to, but I do agree, with what I'm hearing as far as why we're doing what we're doing. It's for the survivors. And, I definitely feel like there should be more of a voice. This should be more centered around that. I agree with Connie, and I thank you, Connie, for speaking up and for speaking for all of us, because this isn't just about one voice or my voice. There's so many other voices out there, and we have to collectively do this together and just remember why we're doing this.
Thank you for your comments. I appreciate it. And the purpose of the commission itself and its work is identified in section 2 of the resolution, and it does cover that, but it does cover the other purposes that are also how to get stuff done, elements of the commission too. So what I'd like to do is ask each of the members that have some input on this to get to Beth and to Randall, who the information that you'd like to make recommendations and work with DeBora on, how we could incorporate that within our bylaws for consideration at the next meeting.
Sure, absolutely.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Dottie?
Thank you.
Madam Chair, could I just say redefining refuge focuses on minors, so they wouldn't necessarily be, lumped with the others, and I just wanted to make that clarification.
Excellent observation. So that's, another reason why we might want to look back at this. I will tell you, when we threw together this commission very quickly last year, we were on overdrive, or year before last, on overdrive to get this done rather quickly. And thank goodness for Pasco County, because they gave us a framework. But now that we're actually, doing a great deal of work, further fine-tuning how this organization and this commission operates should always be considered in order to make sure that we are as effective as we need to be. Ms. Henderson, please, you have a question?
Sorry, I just wanted to add one more thing before I forgot, as far as like the survivor's voice, and you were talking about voting. I think there should, just a suggestion, my opinion, for what it's worth, I think there should be more than one survivor able to vote. That's my only other addition. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that suggestion. We have just a few more minutes because I know we're going to lose a few folks that have to leave. So if DeBora, if you're good with all of the recommendations, you can modify it or give us some suggestions for the next meeting. We'll try and address it at the next meeting, and hopefully we'll have a quorum to vote on it. So thank you very much for your work.
Thank you so much. I'll be happy to work with Beth and Randall based on what everyone provides as recommendations, and have something ready for you all by the next meeting.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is actually the proposed calendar, which we cannot approve because we don't have a quorum, but please put these dates on your calendar, assuming that we don't have something that would conflict with it. If you have a conflict, please let us know as soon as possible on any of these dates, and that way we can determine whether or not we'll have a quorum for future meetings. Next item on the agenda is the working group updates. We have 3 minutes for each of these working groups. So I'm going to start with Connie Rose on the education and awareness.
Whoops, I got to pull my note up. Hold on. Sorry about that. I was like multitasking and I have it all up in front of me. So just give me 1 second. So pretty much our last meeting that we were together as a working group, we had a very robust conversation, around the different awareness events that we're doing, but we really had a conversation around the survey, which I know Jillian is going to speak to, so I'm not going to take her thunder away from that. But we also spoke about Hillsborough Heroes and really wanted to know, so I know that you opened up, and thank you, Commissioner, with some of the different groups now that are joining in, like the sanitation and other employers coming, forward and wanting to take Hillsborough Heroes. But we have some questions around that. So even moving forward, who's tracking the individuals that are actually going through Hillsborough Heroes? Who's tracking that these days?
That's a good question.
Like who's in charge, who's tracking it? Is it being updated? We know that things change constantly. I know we can't go in and do updates, every quarter. However, at least once a year, Hillsborough Heroes is now a year old. A lot of language has changed, stats have changed, how we interact with victims, survivors has changed. So those are some of the
Madam
things
Chair,
that,
I can offer that we as staff, we receive a weekly update from the company with the list of folks who have taken training for that week.
okay. So then Leslie, are you in charge of Hillsborough Heroes now? And the updates and everything else that would go along with that?
Yes, staff is working on that currently.
Okay, but my question is, what staff? So in other words, who would we ask questions to and maybe give some input? And this would be the SAC committee that we would have direct contact with Hillsborough Heroes, and then of course also the Education and Awareness Committee. Who would be our direct contact for Hillsborough Heroes?
That would be me. Beth would be your contact.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
And Ms. Rose, I'm going to, in order to help Beth and the committee, recommended changes, questions, and requests for information do go to staff.
Okay.
Recommended changes and requests for modifications go through the board. So as your committee report comes to us and says, well, we've looked at the training, it appears as though there needs to be a change. If that's the case, then we would need to procure with the company that actually provided us with the training, and we have to set a budget item for being able to make those changes. Consequently, they are also providing us with the data, so you can get the number of people that are trained. That's just part of what the staff does. But any changes would need to come through as a presentation to the board and approval by the board for those changes and then move forward. So does that help?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you, Commissioner. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. If there's not any further update from Education Awareness, Charles Klug, would you like to provide the
thank you.
Legislative and Judicial Affairs Committee?
Sure will, thank you. Our working group met at 2:30 on a Thursday, November 9th. The reason why I say that is because I think in the future, we'll probably be meeting at 2:30 on Thursdays. So I think that seemed to be the consensus of the group in the future. I think we have a tentative meeting for December 16th at 2:30. If not, we'll probably meet in January for our next working group. One of the things we talked about was the need for the pending state legislation update, which we heard today. So I want to thank Lauren Storch for that. Great presentation. Also, our staff for bringing that about. And we also talked about the pending or the new court liaison, and Judge Ficarrotta said he was very excited that there would be an announcement today, which we heard, and excellent credentials. I want to thank Michelle Sainsbury for joining our team. And that's it for me. Keep it real brief. Thanks.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Love it. Thank you. The next item is the Communication and Media Group, a presentation by Dottie Grover-Skipper.
Yes, and I'll keep it very short too, because I know our group met November the 15th, and we had some discussion around the survey that we haven't even talked about today. We had some questions. I don't know if it's relevant to even ask those questions, but has the survey, are there other messages other than the survey that this group desires for our group to relay to the community? And now that we have FKQ back on board, obviously that would be the messaging. But our group, we established, really three goals, and it's all in our notes, so I won't take the time to go over them. But we want to work with each of the working groups to relay whatever messaging needs to be relayed. So we're kind of dependent a lot on the other working groups and what they would like for the media and communications group to relay out to the community. So I think I'll stop there for time's sake.
Excellent, thank you very much. And before I bring services and resources here, I had forgotten to say how much I appreciate those that, provide the notes so that we can get them out to the rest of the board meetings prior to the meeting so we can have these conversations and make that work. The next item is services and resources. Jillian Penhall.
Yeah, I have the update for services and resources. I'm sharing the resources group. But, as our group, we have one of our main goals is the survey that was mentioned by the. Sorry, now everyone can hear me. One of our main goals has been the survey that was mentioned by both Connie and Dottie. And also to piggyback off of what Dottie said, one of the main conversations in our working group on November 17th was just the need to review the goals of the other working groups as well to make sure that we're not, both working on similar issues, but that everything's covered across the board. And so that's something that we were, looking to receive from the other working groups as well. But for the survey that was mentioned, we know we had a survey that came out from our group that was sent to the other working groups from feedback. And one of the questions we got was, well, what was the main goal of that survey? So I just wanted to reiterate that for everyone. So the survey that we've been working on created is really something that we feel as a group would help identify the major gaps in our county as far as what victims and survivors can receive through agency support and nonprofit support services throughout the county. So the survey is really built in two ways. One that would be received by agencies and a staff member could fill out and report back to the county what gaps they encountered while they were trying to serve a victim of trafficking. And the same for survivors to be able to fill out at the point of receiving services to say how, basically like more like a satisfaction, like were your needs met, and then what gaps were also existing while you were trying to receive services. So that's kind of the point of the survey that we've sent out. We did receive some feedback from the education group and also the Survivor Advisory Committee that we're working on putting into that survey. And then so hopefully we'll have an updated one going out to all the working groups as well.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Very, very much. Okay. Not seeing any other, actually, Connie, did you have a question? Okay, I'm going to take your hand back down then. Okay. That's great. Thank you very much for all the reports. Any old business we need to cover? Okay, any new business we need to cover? Well, given that we don't have any public comment, the only thing I want to ask, I had heard through a variety of sources, of which I cannot recall at the moment, but that there was an effort to try and develop some kind of, in terms of services possibly, some kind of transitional housing service. We've found in the Public Safety Coordinating Council that oftentimes individuals that have gone through the system or have found themselves with multiple charges and are trying to get back on their feet, that there are two barriers to success oftentimes. Transportation, housing, or three really, and employment. And so I know housing is one, and being the chair of affordable housing, I'm rapidly working on trying to solve that problem. But I did hear recently that there was an effort to try and look for a strategy on transitional housing for human trafficking victims, adults, and possibly children. Very different audiences, very different needs, but I would ask that if whoever's working on that to reach out to the Commission on Human Trafficking, largely because we would need to coordinate with the Affordable Housing Department to see if where there's opportunities, given that the American Rescue Plan, as well as other federal programs may be available to assist in that effort, and I'd hate to find out that we didn't help there. So if anyone's aware of that, please get with Beth to make sure that we get that information and start looking into how that could be part of the support that we provide for those kinds of things. And so that was a new business item that I wanted to bring forward. I don't see any other hands, and we are at 2:17, so hopefully we can call the meeting adjourned. Thank you so much for all being here today. Appreciate it. Have a happy holidays.
All right, you too.
All right, take care.